We have John, him in Canada. He would like to talk about Pascal's wager. Hello, John. Great name, by the way.
Okay.
Three Johns in one place. The world may explode. What have you got for us?
I have to ask you, what do you think of Pascal's wager?
What what do I think of Pascal's wager? There are a few issues with Pascal's wager for me, and I think for many folks. What if you got the God wrong? What if the whole thing about it's probably better to believe, and then if you're wrong, nothing happens. Fine, but what if you get it? What if there is a God and you picked the wrong one? How annoyed would that God be?
I guess he would be pretty pissed.
Yeah, he'd be pretty annoyed. What about you, John?
Yeah, I find Pascal's wager pretty unconvincing. And for anybody out there that's watching this and don't know like what Pascal's wager is, basically Pascal's wager says that isn't it better to believe in a God and possibly get into heaven or possibly get to this afterlife where you're not like burning in hell, and versus not believing and spending eternity in hell. Like there's an infinite value given to you as soon as you believe in God. But of course, the problem that I find with Pascal's wager is that it only compares Christianity and atheism, or if you're a Muslim apologist or a Muslim in general, it's Islam or atheism. They never seem to consider like other versions of God, and some people kind of hand wave away this whole distinction that we're trying to make here with just a few counter examples of gods that exist. Because if you're a Christian and you believe in the Christian God, you're doing the Christian things in order to get into heaven, then if it's really the Islamic God that exists, which is a different version of the same God, like it's practically it's nearly the same thing, just you have to believe in it in a specific way that gets you into heaven if you're a Muslim. So what if it's the Muslim version of Yahweh that's up there in heaven, right? That is doing all these things. And so if you're a Christian, then that God, the Muslim God, Allah, is just going to send you right back down to hell, right? And so then you're in the same situation as I am, being an atheist. And the way that I come at the Pascal's wagers, I try to look at it statistically as far as should this be convincing, like picking one specific version of God to believe in so that I get into heaven, right? And the one specific version of God is mutually exclusive to all of the other versions of God, right? So it's not like you can believe in a generic God and you'll get into heaven, right? You have to believe in a very specific version of God. So if you think about it, you've got atheism versus I guess you could say theism in this particular case. And if you break that down, it's 50%, 50%. You could be right, you could be wrong, right? Well, when you're comparing atheism to a specific definition of God, you're not looking at 50%. You're looking at like 1 divided by n, which n is a variable representing the number of different representations of God that we have a hell component to it, right? And each one of those you have to believe in the specific way in order to get into heaven, right? In order to satisfy that small sliver of a percentage. So if you're looking at this from a statistics point, which is what generally Pascal's wager is looking to get you to do, you've got 50% atheism, meaning there's no deity afterwards that's going to be sending you to hell or anything like that. And so you're not risking anything as far as heaven, hell kind of decision goes. But over here on the religious side, you have, this small sliver of a percentage that you could be right about this or else you're going to hell. So it seems like if you're just purely looking at it from a probabilistic standpoint, which I don't, as far as like my lack of belief in a God, I don't come at it this way. But if you were to look at it probabilistically, you're looking at like a 0.00001% of a chance that you're going to get into heaven, and then like a 99.99999 repeating like chance you're going to hell. So more than likely, any particular religious standpoint you pick, as far as Pascal's wager is concerned, you're most likely going to be going to hell. So I think the better bet is to not pick one of those, and because more than likely, even if you pick none of them, you're more than likely going to the exact same place you would be going to anyways.
Right. And I'm almost at the point where I care about what's true rather than taking a chance. And I'd rather go down and search for what is actually true, and then go, okay, I feel like I'm right in either yes, believing in this, or no, I don't believe in this. I think it's more important to. I almost feel that Pascal's wager could be slightly lazy, and you just go, well, if I'm wrong, I either don't go to this is it, and I die, or I go to a heaven, or maybe go to a hell if I've got it wrong. I'd rather just go, I'm not convinced of a God, so I don't really. I'm not worried about what happens afterwards. And honestly, if there is a very decent being that is looking after us and governing us as a race and a species, if I've tried my absolute hardest to find out whether or not it does or doesn't exist, surely it would just go, you know what? I didn't give you enough evidence. I clearly didn't convince you for a reason. So maybe, yeah, go on then. You can come and hang around in the good place. You tried. And I feel like a lot of us are definitely trying to find out what is the truth. I feel like we're trying as a group of people. I do feel like we're not being lazy and just going, nah, let's just hope that there is, and hope we got the right one. Do you know what I'm saying, John?
No, I'm totally right there with you. I mean, regardless of what the truth is, I just want to know the truth.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what a lot of people try to pull, they try to pull you into this, decision of like, well, do you want to go to hell or do you want to go to heaven? That's better than not existing or whatever. But in reality, I would rather know the truth regardless of what I would really wish.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of feel like, as you were talking, I kind of feel like the I don't know if it's a Southern like quote or a Southern thing that's said, but it's, shit in one hand, wish in the other, see which one fills up faster.
Right.
And I feel like that's what it eventually leads to in any discussion on Pascal's wager.
There you go. Does that clear some things up for you, John?
Yes, it does. I totally understand where you're coming from.
Good. Well, I'm glad that you called it. I take it. Are you a believer? You where do you stand on it?
Well, gentlemen, I know you're atheists. However, I choose to believe that somewhere out there is the truth. I'm not quoting the X-Files, but I just want to say that I am looking for the truth. Maybe God is the truth, maybe He isn't, but I want to know. But anyway, I'd like to thank you, gentlemen, for your time. Thank you for speaking to me. Have a good night, gentlemen.
Hey, thank you very much for calling in.
Thanks for calling in.
That was good. I think three Johns in one space. You can never go wrong. You can never go wrong with three.
Would that be a gaggle of Johns?
Oh, I don't. Yeah, maybe. And you were outnumbered by the Johns with and without.